States, Lima Mike Hotel, taking off runway 09, right turnout, Aero States. Okay, I have the top of the engine on the horizon. We're turning, about 2400 RPM, 2440 RPM. And, beautiful evening to be flying. We're going to make a right turn.
Runway traffic to the
We're going to climb up to about 1400 feet. And that's your motel. That'll be roughly 1,000 feet AGL. DTT is showing about 1,300. CHT is showing about 293. We're coming up on 1,200 foot. SL. Okay, we are at 1377, 13 phase 3, so we're going to pull the power, bring her back to about 2,200. We're 1490 now. I've got a course set in my GPS here. I'm using ForeFlight. I've got it set to take me to Lufkin. We're not going to go all the way down there today because that's going to take about 45 to 50 minutes. As a matter of fact, at our present speed, it would take an hour and 18 minutes from where we are right now. And we don't have that much daylight left. So what we're going to do is fly here for about a half an hour, and then we're going to turn around and come back. Okay, we're about 1488, so I don't want to get any higher. From where we're at up here, I can see the city of Jacksonville over there. Over here on the left. Okay, 1 on the CHP. Oil temperature's coming up on 100. Now, one of the things when I'm flying just out going somewhere or just enjoying flying, as light as the Legal Eagle is, and you get a little bit of up and down and air movement, bounces and whatnot, trying to maintain a very concise altitude and airspeed is all-consuming, and I don't like to work that hard, so I tend to vary and kind of move around a little bit. I try to stay within a reasonable distance and a reasonable speed. The airspeed, one of the most critical instruments is your altimeter. Is your RPM. Because if you're watching your engine RPM and it starts going up, that means you're going down. If it starts dropping off, that means you're climbing. And that'll tell you before altimeter or vertical speed or anything else. So if you just kind of keep an eye on your RPM, you got a pretty good scope of what's transpiring. Out in California, I used to do a lot of cross-country flying. I haven't done that much here, very little as a matter of fact, and I've got to change that. I got to do a lot more flying here. It's kind of like flying around here, just a lot of flat. It's flatter up there than it is here, but there's no mountains or any references. When you're flying out in California, in the Central Valley especially, unless you got some low visibility, you got all kinds of things to look at and see and reference where you are and where you're headed and to look at both on the video and just see what's going on. Here, you got to enjoy watching these trees. If you flew your Legal Eagle a lot over the same path, you'd get to a point where you'd name each of the trees. Because you got enough time to do that. Now, I'm showing 57, 58 on the airspeed indicator, and I'm showing 53 on the GPS. So when we turn around and come back north, we'll be a little bit slower. If the camera was still there. One of the things I used to have, and I've lost somewhere in my wandering around, is a little mirror, and I'd be able to look behind me, see what's going on behind me.
Traffic, jump one's on a right downwind 16. We'll be climbing and circling the surface set of operations in 10 minutes within 3 nautical miles of the intercept in the traffic.
Now that right there was somebody air to air, and I'm going to turn my radio off here for a little bit, just to save battery power. So I have turned the radio off, and I should be talking through the intercom and still coming out on the camera. So we'll find out how that goes. hop over a lot of open ranch land and not too many cows. Out here, you got houses, farms, stuff everywhere. And where you run out of that, you run into trees. Now, one of the other things, when you're flying your legal, especially when you first start flying it, but after you've flown it for a while, an area to kind of keep an eye out for at all times is take a look at your struts, the front edge of the front strut on both sides of the airplane. Because if you're getting a little leak in your engine oil, anything that drips oil out anywhere on the engine, the first place you're going to see it's either on the windshield, but more likely you're going to see it on the front of those struts. And so that's a real good area to take a look at and see what's happening. Another thing that I like to do is you touch the airplane, like up here by the joint that's in front of me, or down at your seat, and as you're flying across country, especially when it's real calm, you just hold on to that for a while and see what the vibration feels like. And as you're flying at different RPMs and different things, feel that and kind of get a feel for what that's going to feel like. What happens is, if you're ever flying along and it's like, that don't feel right, I don't see anything in the instrument, you feel those vibrations, or look down at the struts, or down at your bottom edges of your windshield, anything's going on, you'll get valuable clues. My airspeed is showing me at 48 mile an hour right now with 44 on the GPS. Hey, we got a nice highway down here. I got to do a bunch more IFR flying around here. IFR, that's I follow roads. Follow those roads down on the ground and see lots of stuff, but from the air you see a whole different viewpoint. Now, one of the things that happens when I get to talking and flying and looking at the world, my heading control and altitude control is just not the best in the world, but we're still at close to 1,400 feet. Headed off in the direction we're intended to fly, so I guess all is well. You always have to look out for other airplanes. I don't see as many down low here as I did out in the Central Valley of California. Out in the Central Valley of California, it was not unreasonable to be flying. You'd be 100 foot in the air thinking, wow, no one else is going to be down here. And you look down and all sorts of things could be going underneath of you. It might be something like a Piper Cub, or it might be a CB, or, all kinds of different airplanes. I had an F4 one day down below me. I was about 100 foot in the air, and he went cruising underneath of me. Now, our EGT is showing 1060, CHT showing 287, our 2220 RPM, 150 degrees oil temperature, and I'm showing about 27 pounds of oil pressure. One of the things I've noticed about the burner, that oil pressure will be all over the place. And I used to worry about it, but I don't get too concerned. What the book says, you've got to have at least 7.5 pounds, and after that, it don't really say it, but basically, it's not too much much to worry about. Now, if it keeps coming down, now you got a problem. I believe, up here in front of us. It's the Jacksonville Lake, just west of Jacksonville. Normal airplane, you know, like a Samcan or Stardust 2 or something, but one of the things I find with the Legal Eagle is as the air is moving, you know, it's fairly calm today, but the air is still moving around. You've got dark spots on the ground, you've got light spots, and you're going to go up and down. And what happens is you can be doing everything you can to hold it nice and steady, and you go over these different spots, and your altitude, you know, you look down and you might be going down 100 foot a minute, or you might be going up 100 foot a minute. Altimeter, slowly moving. Your tachometer hasn't went up or down very much. Now we're going to fly over the top of Lake Tyler here. I'm a little bit higher than I wanted to be, but we're going to be transitioning from over the green pastures and trees out over the lake. So we'll see what that does. Over there at about 11:30 is the Jacksonville Airport, Cherokee County. I noticed, if I just talk in the mic, I'm going to put my hand over the mic now, and I don't really notice that much of a difference on my, what I'm hearing in my headset here. Well, it was 72 miles to Lufkin from Arrow State, T25. I'm down to 54 right now, and it's telling me that I got another 59, another hour to go if I headed this way. Now, if I had time, I've got enough fuel on board to get me there. I've used about 2.1 gallons an hour, say 2.5, so I got 2 hours of flying. And from the time I started it up until now, it's been 27 minutes. So by the time I got to Lufkin, I would be down about 3/4 of a tank used up, so I'd have a quarter tank left. So I'd be in reasonable shape. Okay, so after about 29 minutes of engine run time, I'm showing 1063 on the EGP, 279 on the CHP, 2250 RPM. I'm showing about 28 pounds of oil pressure, 104 degrees oil temperature, and about 14.5 volts on the charging system. Hey, now there's a windmill. Ha, ha, ha. One of these days I'm going to have to take ORV. This is Legal Eagle XL ORV. Legal Eagle is the designer. Leonard Milholland designed this airplane. And it is named him Legal Eagle. There's an ultralight version, the original. The XL, now they're both ultralights, but the XL is for a bigger person, and I'm a bigger person. So I'm 275 pounds, 6'2", and anyway, the original version was for pilots up to about 200 pounds. But this is a Legal Eagle XL, extra large, and for pilots up to 275 pounds. And the name of my airplane here is ORV, and ORV stands for Off-Road Vehicle. If you're tinkering with an airplane like this, or a flying machine, or vehicle, whatever you want to be called it, you go into an auto parts store, you go to buy some, and they say, hey, what's this for? And you tell them an airplane, you'll get thrown out of the place, at least out in California. I don't know about down here, but out in California, you'd be thrown out of the place and told not to come back. And anyway, so ORV, off-road vehicle, you can go anywhere and get any part. Off-road vehicle, oh, no problem. Now, over at about the 11 o'clock position is the city of Rust. And minutes here, and we'll make a U-turn and head back to Arrow State. Now I'm flying with a pair of goggles on, and the reason I have the goggles is I have a problem where my eyes like to water, and with the wind that gets blown around behind the windshield and everything, my eyes tend to water quite a bit, so I wear the goggles, and most of the time they really help that out. Sometimes they don't, but it's always fun to be flying along and have your one eye or both eyes all, you know, they're tearing over. You can't see anything out of. You gotta. When you're up there just flying along, it ain't too bad. But when you're trying to land or you're in an area where there's a lot of other airplanes around, it's a real pain. So I was at a motorcycle shop one day and found some goggles, and I've got a couple pair of them. They're tinted. Anyway, really helps the wind situation out. Okay, well, I'm going to make a U-turn here. This is Highway 84 below us, and we're going to make a U-turn to the left. We're going to take that left wing up, see if there's anything out there. I don't see anything. And we're going to make a left turn. And we're going to head back towards blasting along. Our GPS is telling us about 52 miles an hour, and our airspeed is indicating about 55. Wow! We've got about 34 minutes to start up. 106 on the oil temperature, 2220 RPM, oil pressure about 28, and everything seems to be doing good here. One of the things that you got to watch out for when you're flying your Legal Eagle at the altitudes that most of us fly at, is you got to watch out for birds. Especially when geese and those kind of birds are migrating. If you like to get down low, you have to scare them and they take off. It's kind of unnerving when all of a sudden you're surrounded by birds. If they're in the same direction you're going, they'll probably outrun you. But if you got one that turns around, gets lost, comes back at you, yeah, you got a problem. They will run your day. One of the things about East Texas that has amazed me is all of the timber, the forest products, the trees that are grown here, the companies that grow them and they harvest them and then they replant just like you do corn. Well, the camera still seems to be there. GoPro that's got a little handle on it and a lanyard, so it goes around my neck, and I let it hang here on my tummy or somewhere down in that general area. And anyway, if I'm flying along like this and I see something pretty down on the ground, I can pull that camera out, get pictures of whatever's going on down below me or behind me or beside me. When you have the GoPro, you're looking forward, and that's all you're seeing. Now, I've got the 360 camera, and my next flight I'll probably have it mounted somewhere to pick up some of that, because the GoPro, I think, has a much better quality picture of, seeing what's actually there. But the 360 is hard to beat because it sees everything. If you're flying along and have your GoPro looking forward and there's something over on the side you want to see, the only way you're going to see it is turn and go that direction. With the 360, you just focus it over there when you go to process it, and you got that picture, got that video from that angle. And so when you're doing some of this kind of stuff, the combination of it works out quite well. Got a tower coming up over here on the left. The top of it is 909 feet MSL. It's 270 feet above the ground there, so we're not anywhere near it, so it won't be a problem. Okay, I've readjusted the squelch. I turned the intercom down just a little bit. See how that works out. Whenever I turn my head, it picks up more air movement, turbulence, and I can hear it in my earphones. Got an eye that's trying to water there, so to dry it off. Lake Jacksonville we're flying over right now. Up in front of us, that is Lake Palestine. And that's where we're headed. That's where our airport's at. Doing right now is flying with my feet off of the rudder pedals. When I take this thing apart and move it and put it back together, things don't always miss a washer in the back, and it's not trimmed the best right now. But whenever I have it trimmed like it's supposed to be, nice and you can fly like this, hands off. Feet off the rudder pedals, hand off the stick. If you lean forward, it'll go down. If you lean back, it'll go up. And put a hand out or a couple of hands out or lean to the right, it'll slowly roll to the right. You lean back, doing a real nice turn when it's real calm. Engine run time. We got 2210 on the RPM. We got 1048 on the EGT, 281 on the EGT, and about 111 on the oil temperature, and about 27, 28 pounds of oil pressure. I noticed, and maybe it's the rating, maybe it's me, but the difference I notice is when I do not have my feet on the rudder pedal, as the wind moves me around and I go to correct more, the front swings around to the left and right more. When I have my feet on the rudder pedal, not that I'm doing anything right, but I tend to keep the nose pointed a little bit more where I'm intended to go. when I learned to fly back in Mayapack Falls, New York, there was trees everywhere. And so you got used to what to do in an emergency if you ever got down into those trees. And so it gave me a lot of confidence, I guess you could say. And the other thing is you stay high enough, and what I try to do is stay within gliding distance of where there ain't no trees. Because I would just about as soon land anywhere out there is where the trees are. Well, sometimes you have bigger patches of trees or water or whatever you're going across, so you get up a little bit higher. But the concept is basically to stay high enough to where you can glide into a reasonable landing spot. And with one of these, the reasonable landing spot is you got quite a bit of latitude. When you're in a faster airplane, you know, if you're in an airplane that touches down out there at 60, 70 miles an hour, you got to have some pretty good terrain to put it down on. These things here, I wouldn't really want to land in a plowed field, but I feel confident if I had to land in a plowed field, you'd probably flip it upside down and have some damage, but I'm confident I'd get out of it without getting hurt. But, you know, everybody has their own thoughts on that kind of thing. And flying over water bothers me more than flying over trees. Although the trees is probably the higher chance of our chance of getting hurt. Worst case condition, you're 70 foot in the air, stuck in a tree, and you can't get down, and you can't get nobody's attention. You get help to get down. Good news. You were made a successful landing in the top of a tree, you're not hurt. Bad news, you're stuck there. You got a choice. You're either going to starve or get down somehow. One will hurt you quick, and the one will hurt you slower. Well, I'm going to turn the radio on and start listening to Common Traffic Air Frequency, CTAF, which is where our traffic for narrow states is at. Highway 175 we're coming up on. If you take that highway, you'll wander up to the Dallas area. They're converting a bunch of it here from Frankston down to Jacksonville to 4 lanes. It used to be 2 lanes. Anyway, we're going to fly over the big town of Cooney here in a little bit. Sightseeing again, not watching my altitude. Now, as I go further west, I got the sun up there bothering me, so I got to hold my hand up here to block it out of my eyes. Pull the power back just a little bit. States, Ultralight 10, Lima Mike Hotel, 3 miles south. I'll enter on the 45 for right traffic for runway 09, Aero States. Okay. Make the judgment. You can still hear me. Hopefully everything's coming out good in the audio department and the GPS department. When I put, without my hand on the mic, when I move it over here to a windscreen, and with my hand on the windscreen, or on the mic, I'm over in the slipstream now, and I don't hear that in my head. So, I gotta work on that one.
Traffic RV 9 kill job is 8 miles east inbound. Leave. Anybody at Ennis know the weather there? And into traffic, Ennis up 1. Others were favoring 1 second. Also, altitude drop jumpers, but I'll wait to land in someone. So copy that. We are down 7 miles out, 2.5 minutes.
Aero States, Lima Mike Hotel, entering on the 45 for right traffic for runway 09, Aero States. Lima Mike Hotel, turning right face, runway 09, Aero States.
Ennis traffic, RV 98, so it's gone 4.5 miles east, inbound 16 minutes.
Lima Mike Hotel, turning final runway 09. I'm going to make a low pass and then come back around to land. the hill, so that must be Mark. What we have is a tractor and a tank. They were sitting there when we took off. They water the runway of an evening. So if I hang out up here a little bit, they'll now, in case you're wondering, I'm not at full power. I'm only 2,300 RPM. And I've got the sonar head on the horizon.
See if we go off your full stop range. Okay, so I'll put my hand over the mic here. We'll extend out here a ways. And traffic jump 1 minute jumpers, 1 minute traffic. Okay, I'm going to pull the power back. Lose some altitude and slow down a little bit. Yeah, slow down. Oh, here, 58 to 57. Single mic hotel, turn to the right base, runway 09, Aero Stage. I'll be looking for the tractor on the runway. traffic, jumpers away, jumpers in the air, over and in.
He is almost down to where he's going to turn off. I think I'm going to do a 360. Aero States, Mike Hotel, going to do a right 360 to delay, give tractor time to get off the runway.
So that's from 204 or 4204? Jumpers in the air, 2 open canopies below 4,000, into traffic.
Aero States, Mike Hotel, on final for runway 209, Aero States.
Into traffic, jump 1 is 3 miles to the south of the field. Descending out of 4500, inbound 16, full stop heading.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, we're going to get the nose down a little bit here. Pick up some speed, but we'll transition that speed into hold it off, hold it, hold it, hold it. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Okay. So far, so good. Aero States, Lima Mike Hotel, dynamic clear.